Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the podcast mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Today, I am happy to say we have a very special guest joining us. Their journey took them from the highs of life to the very lows of life. They've enjoyed success in their business life while his personal life suffered. He had all the cars and toys, but something was missing. That's when in 2020, his eyes were open to the horrors and blatant corruption that was taking place around the world. And it was by God. Our guest was driven to help men scale their businesses and help families. But he also had a higher calling, a calling to help people reconnect with spirituality and God, to help them find the answers they were seeking. With that, our guest decided to create the God Walk app, so men everywhere can learn to make the world a better place for both them and future generations. So please welcome our guest, Daniel Krynzel. Daniel?
Thanks for having me, Phil. I'm excited to be a part of this.
I'm very happy to have you here. You have a great story, and I want you just to quickly give us an introduction about who you are and what you do now.
Yeah. So I've been a businessman and entrepreneur my whole life. And so when I saw your show and what you were doing, I was really excited to be a part of it. I had my first business when I was 13, cutting mowing lawns in Ohio. And I was a baseball player through high school and college. And I got into the mortgage business and had a lot of success, but there was something missing, like you talked about earlier. And I found it. And today we get to talk about that. So I'm super, super excited to be able to share that.
So I want to start with all my episodes. I generally ask your why. Why did you decide? So you're an entrepreneur pretty much from youth, going through your life. So you've started businesses, grew them to success, had the failures. You understood that it's falling forward, not falling backwards, as long as you're moving forward, right? But why did you want to be an entrepreneur? Why did you, that initial 13 years old cutting grass? What sparked that?
Yeah. So we moved into this big house in Ohio that came with a riding lawnmower. And my dad was cutting the grass, and then real quickly, he realized he didn't want to do it. He wanted me to do it. So I'm like, all right. And he's like, I'll pay you. And I'm like, even better, because now I get to ride something around, and it's like a go-kart is the way I looked at it. And so I'm mowing the grass. I'm getting paid. I noticed that if I cut the grass twice a week, he paid me twice a week. So I cut the grass twice a week. Then I looked around. I'm like, the neighbors have grass. Why don't I cut their grass and I can make a bunch of money, because I can charge them more than what my dad's paying me. So that's kind of how it sparked. I just wanted money. I was 13. I wanted money to buy candy. That was how simple the conversation was in my head.
Yeah, there you go. That sparks it, buying candy. And then fast forward many years later, or a few years later, you opened a business coaching mortgage specialists and coaches to take their business to the next level. And then what happened?
Yeah. So, actually, I was in the mortgage business. I was closing loans, a massive amount of loans. And then I was coaching realtors on lead gen and high quality sales. So I was helping them with getting listings and everything else. And everything was great. I had multiple seven figures coming in on a yearly basis. I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month. It was exciting. And literally, I'm in my office looking at my bank accounts that are exploded with money. 6 days in the month, I have $131,000 already for 6 days worth of work. I have plenty of money coming in. I have all the toys. I have the family's happy. My kids are in my life. Everything is great. I'm healthy. I haven't drank or used drugs for many years at this point. I'm clear and clean. And I look up and I pray to God. I'm like, God, why do I feel this way? Why is there this hole in my chest? What's wrong with me? This isn't right. And God started speaking into my heart and into my head and into my soul. And he started guiding me into this purpose that I have now, which is, it's incredible to be aligned with what I do today.
So let's talk about that. What is the God Walk, the God Walk app? What is it?
So let's first start with, let's talk about how it kind of morphed. Because it's a loaded question.
Yeah, I understand that. Let's start at the beginning. So
yeah,
You started having God speak to you
Yes.
in your spirit. You felt that reverence. What did that lead you to do? Like when you first
Yeah.
felt that, what happened?
It first was a commitment. I made a commitment. The commitment was I'm going to walk with God every single day until I figure this out. Like, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel empty? I have all this money, all these toys, the family's in my life, I'm healthy, but I still don't feel right. Like, why don't I feel right? So I made a commitment to walk with God every single morning before the sun came up, literally. And I did that. And that's how the God walk kind of came into fruition. It was me. Like I wasn't trying to build anything. I wasn't trying to create anything. I was just trying to get answers from God directly. I knew that like God could tell me what was going on. I just knew it in my heart. I had a relationship with God before this commitment, but obviously after I made this commitment, it was a consistent walk every single day, and it's been that way since I made the commitment. Um, it's different today. It's way stronger, but that's how it started. Was I was like, I'm going to walk with God every single day. I'm going to ask him strategic questions, and hopefully he'll give me strategic answers so I know like what the hell to do with my life. Like what the fuck is going on? That's what I was really feeling inside. Like this is wrong.
So it was just you waking up before the sun was up, like some of the crazy people, um, and just walking and just being introspective and listening for God to speak to you. You're asking
Yes.
the questions, you're putting it out there, and you're just allowing the universe to come to you and speak to you.
Well, I was not just like allowing it, I was prompting it. I was
Mhm.
like, God, I need you to answer this question for me, please. Like I was coming with a humble heart, but I was coming with intensity and 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 intention. I was like, I need information on this. So I'm open. Please tell me and tell me what I'm supposed to do with this. What am I supposed to do about this? You know, and he would tell me. And then I would hear his voice come into my head. And it started happening so frequently and so consistently that that's when I started picking up my cell phone. I would literally be on the walk. I jump out of my truck. I go to this specific park when I lived back in Las Vegas a little while ago. And I'd pick up my phone and I would get on one of the note sections on my phone. I'd hit the little microphone. I'd be walking. I'd be like in this flow state, just walking in the park early as hell in the morning. And I would ask a question and then I would get like his voice just speaking to me. Like it wasn't my voice. Like it was almost like I was having a conversation with you, Phil,
Mhm.
but it was God. He was telling me, you need to do this. You need to do this. So I started with opening up my phone and I'm like, I'm hearing God say this. And then I just started just speaking like what God was telling me. Cause I didn't want to lose like any of this. It was like golden nuggets.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to lose and I didn't want to stop and like try to like
Like,
type it on my phone, or I didn't want to like get out a journal with a pen. I didn't want to break the flow. Like I knew there was like this flow thing going on, like where I was walking and I was like opening up this channel and like God was speaking to me. And so I would get like these paragraphs of just golden nuggets of like what I was supposed to do with my life and like how I was supposed to fill this like this hole that was in my chest. Like I knew it wasn't a money problem, Phil. Like it was a purpose problem because like I had all the money I needed. Like I didn't
yeah.
need any more. I didn't need I had at this point I had so many toys. Like it was a full-time job to make sure that all the toys were running properly and all the modifications and all the stuff that was like done on time and like things were right and maintenance. Like it was I had to hire someone almost because of like, you know, it was like the motorcycles here, the race cars here. I had an exotic car. I had like it was just everywhere. And it's not about toys. It's just I had all of them. And I'm trying to make the point like it wasn't a money problem. It was a purpose problem.
Mhm.
So I just kept driving this with God. And he started opening up and like speaking to me and like giving me like the steps I needed to take to like align myself with why I'm here.
Okay. So you have your communication. You figured out, hey, I'm going to use my note app to record this because it's the fastest, easiest way. It doesn't interrupt the flow because it's just straight reverberating what I'm being told.
That's right. That's exactly
Then
right.
then what started happening? Like you started looking and like we mentioned the corruption that was going around.
Yeah.
What
So that
what did you what are you trying to change? Like what corruption did you see?
yeah, so it didn't happen that quickly yet. Like
Mhm.
I was like walking and I was doing all this and I was listening to God and God was like, "Okay, Now you understand how to channel my voice. Now you understand how to get the answers. Now you understand how to like live a life on purpose. And I'm like, okay, I do. Like I'm hearing him like clear as day. He then said, now you're going to build the Godwalk app. Now you're going like, he gave me the name. Like I had no idea what was going on. He said, you're going to build this app. And I'm thinking, okay, whoa. Like I'm not a tech guy. I have no people on my team that has any idea about building an app. And all I hear is horror stories about building an app. Like, are you kidding me? Like I was scared.
Of
And I'm like,
course.
God, help me. And he guided me. I build this app. And once I build the app, it was like the next morning when the app is like live, he's like, okay, now you have the opportunity to duplicate this process. You have the opportunity to duplicate what you have here in your hand, in your smart device. Like there's technology now that you're using. You can give this Godwalk app to the men and to the women that want to walk with me. And when they walk with me, the truth is going to be spoke to them. That's when it started, Phil. I had no idea. Like I had no political view. I had no like over country, like overseas, like prerogative, or like I didn't care. I didn't know. Like I didn't know anything about. I didn't know what CCP meant. I didn't know that there was like China and CCP, and they were like in the same spot, but they were completely two different things. You know, like I didn't know that. I didn't know they were separated, even though they were there. I didn't know like I didn't know that like our media, almost all of our media is being driven by someone else's agenda. It's not even US agenda. It's like fucking overseas agenda. He's telling me all this stuff and I'm like, okay. Then he's like, watch this, watch this documentary, do this. And like, I'm just hearing all this and I'm like, this is horrible. So long story short, I learned and I got a view and I got a point and a focus on how I'm supposed to look at things. And the whole reason behind the Godwalk app is to connect as many alpha men, strong men to God as I can. Because like my true purpose, my financial purpose is to connect these men to God so they can hear the truth from God and not the propaganda from the news. Like the media outlets are horrible when it comes to like conditioning us as society. Like we have gender confusion. We have all this stuff going on that's making the man weak. And when the man is weak, what's going to happen? Like if someone comes and tries to take you and your family on, Phil, and you don't know that you're a man, are you going to be able to defend yourself and your family? Probably not. You know, you're not going to be strong. You know, so there was just so many things I was learning. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And so it all started with the Godwalk app. It all started with God. It all started with me just wanting to find out like what my true financial purpose was. Once I knew what my financial purpose was to get this Godwalk app in as many hands, especially men, as possible. They're going to be able to hear the truth from God. God's going to tell them exactly how they're supposed to live. God's going to tell them exactly what their gifts, exactly what their talents are, why they're here. Like they're going to answer that question. Like so many men are wondering, and women, but especially men, why am I here? If I just knew what I was really supposed to do with my life, I would do it. I hear this almost every single day. And the answer doesn't come from inside. It comes from God. God knows. God gave every single man and woman a gift and a talent specifically for them to use it to bear fruit on this world, to change the world at some level or another. Like everyone has a gift or a talent. The truth is you got to find it. And that's what the Godwalk app does. It gives you the opportunity to find it.
And how does it do that? Like break down, how does the the Godwalk app work?
Yeah. So remember, this was something that was created with me just walking consistently many, many mornings in a row. So it was an evolving practice that I started. Okay. So I noticed as I was walking, I was setting an intention every single, like that would be like my first step with God. I'd be setting an intention. I would set it with a humble soul. Like I would be like, God, this is what I'd like to work on today. If you could help me with this, that'd be great. If not, then obviously you know more than I do, but this is what I'd like to work on. So I'm setting an intention. That would be step one, was setting an intention. So like a lot of people are going, okay, what do you mean it's set an intention? Like how many issues are going on in your life right now that you would like to know the exact answer on what you're supposed to do? That's your intention. That's how simple it is for you to find your intention. Like a lot of people start with the Godwalk app. How do I pay my bills? or how do I get a job, or how do I get a new job, or how do I market or scale my business? How do I get more customers? How do I make more money? How do I make more profit? Like whatever it is, like God, today my intention is I'd like to get my marketing dialed in. So if you'd help me with that, that'd be great. That's setting an intention. I noticed that when you come to God strategically and you set an intention, he'll actually show up for you. It's the most amazing thing ever. Like a lot of people are taught, and I love church. I go to church from time to time. But the thing is with church, like there's a lot of times people are teaching just pray and God will send you a sign. Just just throw a prayer out there and then something will come back. No. Let's be intentional. Let's ask a specific question. Because if you get the specific answer, then you have steps to take. So that's what happened. I started an intention. So I'd set an intention, and then I realized that setting the intention, some of the times the intentions I was setting were like putting me in like a fear-based situation. Like I was scared. Like, how do I fix this problem? That's pretty much fear-based, right, Phil? Like
Mhm.
that's not positive. I noticed that God wants you to be open with positivity. Like he needs you to be open. If you're like fear-based and scared, like and you're pissed off and angry, like you put this block up. And when that block is up, you don't open up for the coaching and the voice of God to enter. So I noticed I needed to like review the last 24 hours of my day, like the blessings that God made for me and gave me. So I would do that. I'd be like, God, I made the most amazing steak last night on the grill. Thank you. I got to play with the kids last night. Me and my wife got to go on a walk that was incredible. We got to go to the movies. Thank you for letting me get that motorcycle back. Like it's the fastest thing I've ever ridden, like whatever, but just be like honoring and acknowledging the blessings. So then I noticed after I did that, then I was like open. And then the third step that I would do would be I would like lay it on the table. I would literally like tell God where I'm at in the three core areas of life. Like I would say, God, today, this is where I'm at in my financial purpose. My marketing is working. My impact is amazing. The men that I'm helping are changing, their families and their lives and their communities. I need this help. I need this help. This is going good. This isn't going so good. Like I would literally just have an open dialogue, like from my voice into the app, and I would just start speaking what was going on in my financial purpose. But I would be honest. See, here's the thing that most people don't realize. God knows. He already knows. He's been watching you. He's been watching all of us. So he already knows. But the thing is, he needs to know that you know. He needs to know that you're going to be honest. So it's kind of an honest part. So I would do that with my financial purpose. I would do that with my body and health. I would do that with my relationships. And all of a sudden, then I would like get to the fourth and the most important step of this walk would be now I'd be asking for coaching. I would ask God's voice, God's direction, God's instructions, God's revelation to come in and speak to me. Now, a lot of the men that I work with, some of them, they hear his voice. Some of them get an idea. Some of them get a thought. Some of them see a picture, an image inside their head. It all comes in different forms. If you do it consistently enough, you will channel God's voice directly. It happens every single time. And when you can live by God giving you coaching and directions on what steps to take in the three core areas of life, financial purpose, body and health, and relationships, your life will be incredible because God will allow you to live the life you're supposed to live. Like you're going to live on purpose. You're going to live a life that counts. It's not about making millions of dollars. Like, yes, you will make millions of dollars if that's what your purpose is. And mine is, which is great. But the thing is, it doesn't really matter. It's not the money. It's doing what you're supposed to do. Because when you're living life the way you're supposed to live, you don't have that hole in your chest like I was describing before this walk and before this connection. Like I had all the money in a hole. I rather not have the hole. So
Yeah,
that's how
because
this
money won't
happened.
fill that hole.
No, it won't. It won't. So that's how the God Walk app came to fruition, was because I was just walking. I needed it. And God literally said, this is how you're going to do it. You're going to give men the opportunity to live their financial purpose, live a life on purpose, live a life that counts and matters. And they're going to live a life they're supposed to live because they're using their gifts, their talents fully. And when a man locks in with that, they're the happiest man you've ever seen ever because they're living the way they're supposed to live.
I can't argue with that. I fully agree with like when you find your purpose, everything else in life just starts coming together, and you have a great time. I would like to know, like you've obviously invested in yourself. a heavily
Yeah.
amount to learn, to understand. Um, do you have a tip for someone who is starting out, about to go into this entrepreneurial journey, as you probably have seen multiple times with your coaching and that?
Yeah.
A tip for them to start, how can they start investing in themselves?
Yeah. So the first investment, and this is something that took me, and I didn't do this myself this way in this order, but I'm going to give you the cheat code. Is it okay? I give everyone the cheat code?
You are free to give cheat codes
Okay.
away.
Okay. You need to hire coaching. You need to hire marketing agencies. You need to hire everybody that's going to help you with scaling your business, but you need to start with God. God will direct you on who to hire. I didn't have this piece. I spent hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars for coaching. And some of the coaching was great. Some of the coaching wasn't so good. And as I was spending all that money and as I was learning those things, if it would have been backwards, which it couldn't have been, because I needed to go through the road that I went through to get to where I'm at today. Like,
Mhm.
I understand that, but I'm giving cheat codes now. So here's the cheat code. You walk with God. You find out what God is directing you to do. Then you don't have to build a business that's not the right business. Then you don't have to launch a marketing plan that's the wrong marketing plan. Then you won't have to do something that you didn't need to do, because God is not going to give you the wrong directions. He's going to give you the exact steps to take to be able to have success, and also to have that inner success inside, to where, like, you don't have that hole that a semi truck can drive through in your chest.
Mhm. I love
So
it.
yeah, I want to give a gift away. Can I give a gift away to your
Certainly,
listeners?
you are more than welcome to give a gift away.
Okay. So the God Walk app is $399 on the Google Play and the iOS store. If you go right now to the God Walk app on the Google Play and iOS, that's how much it is, $399. I'm going to give it to everyone that's listening for free. Full access, lifetime access. The reason I'm doing that is because my mission, my financial purpose, my passion, what gets me excited amongst anything else I've ever done in my life, is finding that man that connects himself with his financial purpose through a connection with God. This is a duplicatable process. When you download the Godwalk app, what's going to happen is you're going to be walking with God, and you're going to be taking steps towards your financial purpose. You're going to be taking steps to where you're going to unleash the gifts and the talents that God specifically custom made for you, to where you can make the impact on the world you're supposed to make. It might just be the impact in your street or your community or your business. It might be an impact in your state, your country, or the world. I don't know what your financial purpose is. I don't know what your gifts or talents are, but God does. And when you get this app, what happens is God is going to drive you so you can land where your financial purpose is. And when you're there, you'll wake up in the morning not feeling like you're working. You'll wake up in the morning not feeling like you have to do something. You're going to wake up in the morning excited as hell because you get to do something. You get to be aligned with what you're supposed to be doing. So this is how you get it for free. Don't go to the Google Play and the iOS store first. You go to thegodwalkapp.com. Again, thegodwalkapp.com, and you can download lifetime access for free on that page. And this is my gift to you. I want you to walk with God. I want you to connect with your financial purpose. I want you to change your life, your family's life, and the world, if that's what you're called to do.
Thank you very, very much for that. As we come off that free gift, we're going to jump into the Spark question of the show. Spark is, of course, the card game from Seek Discomfort, and they are an amazing channel. You should really go check them out. They look to inspire people to seek the uncomfortable. So, Daniel, when was the last time you tried something for the first time?
Yesterday morning. Do you want to know what it was?
If you care to share.
Yeah. I was really sick yesterday. Today has been like the day that I'm a little better.
Mhm.
I caught something, or something happened to where, like, I was really bad. Like, I threw up in the shower yesterday morning.
Oh,
And I look at my wife and I'm like, oh, man, I had on my schedule, I had a lot of things I needed to do. I had podcasts, I had I had a video shoot I had to do. And I'm like, oh, baby, we need to, like, reschedule all this. And I just, like, hear God, like, pushing me. And my wife is massively connected to God too. And she's, like, smiling because she's, like, getting the same revelation I'm getting. She's like, no, 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 you're, you're going to do it. So I shot 4 videos that were very important videos. actually for the fulfillment of the God Walk app. We're always making it better. And I shot these videos being massively sick, but when you see me, when it's hits record, you can see me like boom, like light up, and I'm not sick. And then the second it's off, I'm like, I'm gonna die, you know. So
it's a magical power that being able to switch on the mask, and then you're like, I'm good, and death right afterwards.
It was God was with me. And to answer your question, like specifically, I've never tried to shoot very important videos being that sick, and it was God helping me shoot those videos. So that's my answer to your car. That's kind of a cool way of ending the show, man.
I like that. Daniel, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. It was a pleasure talking with you, hearing your story. I'm going to jump off stage here. I want you just to let my audience know again where they can find the God app, how they can connect with you so that they can help you grow this as well for everybody. So the floor, sir, is yours.
Okay, cool. Thanks again, Phil, for letting me be a part of this. So everybody that's listening, look, this is how we hang out. You start walking with God. You go to the godwalkapp.com. I'm on all the social media channels, godspeedwithdaniel.com, but that's not important. What's important is for you to find your financial purpose, for you to live a life on purpose, for you to answer that question, why am I here? What am I supposed to do with my life? These answers are literally in the God Walk app. When you're walking with God, connected with God on a consistent basis, this is what will happen for you in your life. So go to thegodwalkapp.com. Again, thegodwalkapp.com. Download it for free, lifetime membership for free. And you will have an opportunity to connect with your financial purpose and live the life that you're supposed to live.
Awesome. Daniel, again, thank you so much for being here and sharing your journey with us. To my audience, of course, check the show notes down below for those links. If you didn't hear it, again, it's thegodwalkapp.com, but the links will be down below so that you can connect with Daniel and start walking with God if you choose. And always remember to invest in yourself.